If you're looking for a dose of history, just head over to East 4th Street at the Merchants House. It's a historic home plus a museum. It's just one of those spots that makes New York, New York.
So the house was built in 1832, and when this house was built, the Erie Canal had just opened, and these wealthy merchants were moving to this neighborhood here on 4th Street. The family who lived in this house, the Treadwells, moved in 1835, and they lived here for nearly 100 years. And the house today is complete with the family's original furnishings, their personal possessions. We even have their clothing here. So right now we're standing in the double parlors. The Treadwells would have used these rooms for entertaining. Everything in this room is meant to impress. It's meant to make a statement. It's meant to show guests how wealthy the Treadwells are, what great taste they have. So in 1867, Charles Dickens came to New York and he did dramatic readings of his beloved Christmas Carol story. And so every December, Charles Dickens comes here to the Merchants House and performs his Christmas Carol for our guests.
Once upon a time, of all the good days in the year, on Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat busy in his counting house.
In wealthy households in this time, it was customary for husbands and wives to sleep separately. In a mother's bedroom, a small bed like this could have been used for a child. The children's bedroom floor is immediately above us, today used for museum offices. But in the 19th century, if any of the kids got sick, they'd be brought down here and kept in the room with their mother. It might have also been used as a makeshift guest bed. If the Treadwells had a lot of guests or unexpected guests, you might put a close female friend or a female relative in the room here with Eliza, which to us feels sort of invasive. We wouldn't normally put a guest in our own bedroom today. But people had very different ideas about privacy in the 19th century, and so even in a wealthy household, putting a close female friend or a female relative in your own bedroom would have been very normal. Domestic servants were crucial for houses like this one. You couldn't run a house like this without help. The Treadwells had 4 servants who lived and worked here in the house. These servants were almost always Irish immigrants. It was incredibly common to have Irish immigrants working as servants in your home. Cooking in the 19th century is tricky because, of course, there are no thermostats. And so some domestic manuals instructed servants that when you build your fire in that oven, you would actually then stick your hand inside. And if you can only hold your arm in there for a few seconds, then you know it's at the right temperature.
Last but not least.
Last stop. We're in the family room. The Treadwells would have used this room very much like we use a family room today. This was an all-purpose hangout space. They would have spent a lot of time here together as a family in this room. Little children would have played in this room. Older kids would have done schoolwork here. The family would have eaten their meals together here in this room and often gathered here in the evening. It was customary for the father of the family to read aloud to everyone in the evening. We sometimes joke among the staff at how horrified the Treadwells would be to know that members of the public are coming in and nosing around their house. But I think that their things and their home does such a great job of sharing this important part of New York history. And so I think there's something really special about that.